You know what it is, I'm back in the building. Charity strap still stacking a million.
Sean Diddy Combs wasn't just a mogul, he was a master of reinvention. From the streets of Harlem to the heights of hip-hop, he built Bad Boy Records into an empire, turning artists like the notorious B.I.G. into legends. But behind the platinum records and VIP parties, there was always another side, one of violence, manipulation, and unchecked power. In the late 90s, Diddy was untouchable. The flashy suits, the champagne-drenched music videos, the public love affairs, it all painted a picture of success. But beneath the glamour, a different portrait was emerging. A ruthless empire built on fear, silence, and secrets. In 1999, Club New York became the scene of chaos. Gunfire, screams, blood on the velvet ropes. Diddy and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were arrested after a shooting left 3 injured. Witnesses claimed Diddy's entourage sparked the violence. Shyne, a young rapper trying to make a name, took the fall. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Diddy walked free. That trial wasn't just a courtroom drama, it was a warning. A glimpse at how far Diddy would go to protect his image. He paid top lawyers, distanced himself from Shyne, and rebuilt his brand. But for those who were close to him, it sent a clear message. Loyalty came second to survival.
I literally watched them pull out the guns. I've had a clear point of view. I mean, for God's sake, I got shot in my nose. I was facing them directly. I watched everything occur and have described it, vehemently to all parties involved. The irony is, there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened. My shooting, ironically, the night I went into the club, I had a comb in my pocketbook called a rat tail comb. People in the beauty industry or people that use that type of comb would be all too familiar. It's just a comb. It can't do anything to harm anyone. And I had the very security officer who lied during the trial, Sharice, I forget her last name, but she literally took it from me and kind of pushed me like, you can't take this in, this is a weapon. So let other people in with gun. If someone had combed me 24 years ago, I'd be fine. You wouldn't even know my name. But having been shot by someone that was allowed to come into the gun when I couldn't bring in a phone, I would absolutely unequivocally like the case reopened. It needs to be reopened. And the saddest part for me is, had people taken what I said more seriously and listened more intently, 24 years worth of people probably would not have had to suffer.
Yeah, and I ask you this respectfully, just because I think people at home might be wondering, and I've never been shot, I can't imagine what that's like, but, in the chaos of that moment, and it's a club and there's people all around, like, how can you be sure that it was actually P. Diddy?
Because I watched I was standing by the front door, I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands, but then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip. And I knew, I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voice of God say, you are about to be calm down. And as I said no, I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly.
Wow.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot me.
Former artists whispered what they couldn't say out loud. Bad Boy wasn't just a label, it was a trap. Mark Curry claimed Diddy owed him millions. Craig Mack, the label's first breakout star, died isolated and penniless. Mays, who helped define Bad Boy's golden era, said Diddy blocked his comeback unless he gave up his publishing. He owns your soul, one insider said. And if you want it back, you better be ready to pay. or disappear. For years, people looked away. The hits kept coming. The parties got bigger. But in 2023, everything changed. Cassie Ventura, the singer who spent over a decade in Diddy's shadow, filed a lawsuit that shook the music industry. She accused him of rape, repeated beatings, and human trafficking. She described a world of drugs, control, and coercion. Diddy, she said, ran her life like a prison. He dictated her diet, her phone calls, even her sex life. She claimed he forced her into encounters with male escorts while he filmed. The lawsuit settled in 24 hours, but the silence was broken. What followed was an avalanche. Multiple accusers came forward. One woman said she was gang raped by Diddy and two others when she was just 17. Another said she was drugged and assaulted at a recording studio. Allegations spanned decades. From the 1990s to 2023, women described similar patterns: lavish promises, then isolation, then abuse. In 2024, the walls closed in. Federal agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Homeland Security was investigating him for sex trafficking. Inside, they reportedly found hidden cameras, encrypted hard drives, and luxury items bought with shell company funds. Rumors swirled that Diddy kept blackmail footage, that he used drugs and threats to keep victims silent, that some of his closest associates had flipped to save themselves. Behind closed doors, the feds were building a case. Witnesses were subpoenaed. flights were traced. Financial records were pulled. Diddy's private jet logs matched allegations from survivors. His parties once envied were now crime scenes. But even as the storm raged, Diddy danced at Art Basel at private islands, at award shows, wearing diamonds, quoting God, pretending the end wasn't near. But behind the smiles, he was bleeding support. Brands dropped him, his vodka deals vanished. His television projects were shelved. Silence echoed from his former collaborators. The empire was crumbling. And then came the most chilling part. In early 2025, reports emerged that at least one of the people connected to the investigation had gone missing. Others received threats. A private investigator leaked that multiple victims were under federal protection. For years, Diddy was the American dream, rising from nothing, becoming a billionaire, rubbing shoulders with presidents and kings. But now that dream is a nightmare unraveling in real time. The lawsuits are stacking up, the public has turned, and the man who once ran the world is now running out of time. The FBI has yet to press charges, but sources close to the case say indictments are coming. Federal agents have told accusers they believe them. They've built a timeline, they have the receipts. The question now isn't whether Sean Combs was powerful, it's whether he used that power to exploit, to harm, and to destroy lives behind closed doors. And in the court of public opinion, his fall has already begun. No one thought it would end like this, but maybe, just maybe, it was always going to.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.